Come on, computer. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 0000041 of LivLive. We're getting close to that year anniversary mark, and we just keep having great guest after great guest. And today is one of my favorite people, architect, builder, founder of Forward Design Build in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Jef Forward. Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. I really appreciate it. And those are very kind words.
Oh, I could keep going all day long on the the things that I love about Jef Forward, but I know I could read a list of all the stuff, and then you'd be the most humble person ever about it, and you'd be like, I'm just a guy. But we got to know each other, geez, I don't even know, probably 5 or 6 years ago through Remodeler's Advantage, and kept in touch kind of throughout.
Was it
COVID?
I think it was before the COVID, wasn't it?
It was before COVID, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I remember meeting you in line heading into a restaurant at a RA event at one of their summits.
Yeah. So that was pre-COVID, and which was like 6 years ago was COVID. So that's kind of nuts, I guess. Yeah, but then during COVID, we really connected and we did some Zoom calls.
Right. Yes. Yeah,
we talked marketing. We're trying to figure out what to do with the world. And you have always been, I would say, kind of I want to get to your origin story at some point, but like you have a lot of facets to what you do and what you bring to the table. But you've always been kind of a really forward, no pun intended, forward thinker in terms of technology and marketing. We're trying to stay ahead of the curve. What are you kind of doing or working on these days? What's next?
What's next for us is really bringing in using AI to help automate empathy within my team and really understand where our clients are at in terms of their personality types, how they like to communicate, and how my team can take this information and have it seamlessly be automated that it meets the clients where they're at. So that's in spoken word conversation and in emails and or text messages as well. So, and that's all based on the DISC profile. I've just been leaning more and more and more into that over the last 15 years. And with the era of AI, it's really given us the opportunity to leverage that even more.
I love that. Yeah, let's talk about DISC then a little bit. So for those that don't know, it's a personality profile based on a series of questions that you answer, and everyone has traits, right? So you have a dominance, influencer, steadiness, and compliance.
Correct.
And they're all different on different people. And for me, a lot of what it comes down to is how we communicate with people, right? Because an I communicating with a C they might just completely miss. So both kind of need to adapt. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that is fair to say that's both need to be able to adapt. But I feel pretty strongly that in a service-orientated industry, I don't think our clients should be adapting. I think we should be adapting to our clients.
No, fair enough. It makes total sense. I guess I was thinking more because I don't want to say I haven't thought about it at the client service side of things. I think we need to think about it more. This is kind of reinforcing that. But just as an internal team, and because we've grown, we went from 10 to 16 people over the last couple of years, and you end up inserting different personality types in there, and everyone, you just have to kind of reinforce that and understand. We need to adapt and adjust and realize that we're not trying to make someone upset right now. Right. This is just how this person communicates. And maybe that person needs to communicate in a different way, but the other person has to receive it in a different way.
Correct.
It's like the Tony Robbins. I just saw it the other day. Like, your trigger is your trigger. Like, I'm not your trigger. What I'm doing isn't the trigger. It's your trigger. it's triggering you control that, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of both ways. Have you, and how many people do you guys have now?
We have 47 teammates.
Holy crap.
So
that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's fun. We get to see people grow, we get to see people lead, and we get to see people make mistakes too. And then it's how we work through those mistakes and how we grow as a team, how they grow as a person from it. And sometimes that growth stops, and we do what we can, but everyone has their kind of journey, their professional journey, and we want to be a part of it. But we also have to be honest and direct with people. And sometimes it's better for people to move on and move on in different life pursuits as well. But the DISC, with us having this full understanding of the DISC and people's traits, it helps our team really communicate well, I think. And over the last 15 years, we've just been focused so much on the team. Certain roles within our company are more predicated for certain DISC profiles, but it's not a narrow lane for that. But it's really interesting to see. Like I'm a ID, and almost my entire design team are SCs, and I'm a low S. So. And that's not it's not a sentence. People can change their DISC as they grow, but that consistency and steadiness and being conscientious and crossing all your T's and dotting your I's, those are really big, important factors for our design team. And for me to sit at a desk and just do one thing as an ID, it's hard for me to do. So while I think I'm a good designer, over a long period of time, I'm not, in terms of the production of everything and hitting deadlines consistently. I certainly drive my team crazy a little bit when I am involved with something, because I'm just naturally drawn to pushing the limit to the deadline. I mean, that's how we were trained in school too. College, it was, you do a couple.
You can always do more.
Right. Yeah.
So no matter what, you're working to the deadline. So
right.
Why not just do it all right at the deadline?
Right.
This sounds very, very familiar to me, Jeff.
Yeah. I mean, and so we certainly don't want that stress on our team. And ultimately that becomes stress on the client. And our whole purpose with our business is a stress-free experience for our client. No budget surprises, no poor communication surprises. It's just really focused on that great client experience. And
I love that.
Yeah, the DISC helps us set the wheels in motion for that.
Okay, so I'm gonna stick on DISC here for a little bit more, and I'm gonna connect the dots on previous episodes. It's like now that we're at episode 41, it's really fun to start to take pieces from other episodes and start to understand how they can piece together. So we had, do you know Todd Hansen and Quarterson?
No, I don't. The name sounds familiar. Was he an RA?
Yeah, the owners were. He's the director of client experience, the director of experiences.
Then I haven't met Todd.
One of my favorite things, and he's huge on DISC. He's in charge of all experiences, so that's the staff and everything else. And so DISC is a big part of what they do. But towards the end of our conversation, he kind of used his mantra, and he had as a picture that he draws, which is name it, circle it, and point to it. And that's been sticking with us a lot, because so often we name something, right, and we circle it. So we do a DISC profile for all of our people, and then we talk about it. But then when we lose it, we stop pointing to it and reinforcing it or bringing it in. So when you're using DISC profiles amongst your staff, what are the mechanisms to kind of reinforce it? Does everyone have a card or a tool, or how does everybody know to use that on a regular basis?
Well, we have DISC wheels up in several locations in the office. So if just like going to the team lunchroom, there's a disc wheel and you can see where people are at. And for our client facing roles, we have cards that have guidelines for how to address people and in terms of clients. And on our wheels, we have a brief description of the disc in terms of their characteristics. And then the practice is to talk about it. And even sometimes just that refreshing, a refresher of asking the question, hey, how do you like to communicate? Like, how do you want this information? Or if it's a challenging conversation, is, hey, this might be a difficult conversation. Like, what guidelines do you want to set? Mm-hmm. And just even asking those probing questions can really help people kind of reassess, like, okay, this person is a D personality, and they're going to want me to hit them over the head with it. And if it's a S, they're going to want some reassurance first, that type of thing. So it's mostly just, we have those, a couple of visual signs, and then we talk about it a lot.
Okay. And then in terms of understanding your client's personality profiles, is that something that you guys are just kind of doing as a gut check? Are you analyzing email communications? Are you using a Plod device and then asking AI to be like, how do you best communicate with these folks? What are the tools there to understand?
Yes. So we've been recording for years.
Yeah. You were way ahead on that. You were doing AI sales call analysis like
right
7 years ago, it seems like.
Yeah, we started off with Gong, and this was, I think, back in 21. And then Rilla came out, and Rilla is geared for the home improvement industry, and we really loved Rilla, but I reached the capacity limit of what it could do for us. And then now we use Fireflies, which is more agnostic, just a general recording, and then we pipe that stuff into our own AI process that gives us a lot more detailed information. But for understanding clients' discs, most of our onboarding team, our project consultants, they're pretty good with the disc now, so they can start to spot cues with people. But we also use a tool called Humantica, which is through LinkedIn, and it's a small fee, but they can gather disc profiles based on people's interactions on LinkedIn. And then we also ask AI to assess that we have an agent that is geared for, disc personalities, and we get feedback from there. Our next step, which we haven't started doing yet, but is simply asking people to fill out an assessment. But we also do ask people how they want to receive information, and we have some probing questions that help guide us to be a little more specific with the questions. Gotcha. And with all of that, that gives us a really good background in terms of the people and their discs, because the other challenging thing is not everyone is going to be, you rarely see two people with the same disc, just, opposites attract, or however that goes. So whenever we're working through a response or sending out an email, we have to take both discs into account, and whether or not they're equal partners in the remodel, or if there's somebody who's taking the lead, then we'll prompt that disc to be the primary. So, but yes, we're always looking at that and trying to figure that out.
Is there, and so in your market, so in the Ann Arbor market, I assume you're doing, middle high-end work. Minimum project size is probably, I don't know, do you do smaller work, or is 300 kind of
We'll do smaller work for past clients.
Okay.
And that smaller work might get down to $50,000. We don't do too many of those. We'll definitely push those out as they come in, meaning, I don't want to do $50,000 projects at once. We
Right.
try to maintain a mix. We do a combination of large projects, anywhere from $1 million to 3 or 4 million. And the bulk of our work is probably between 300 and 800. And then we have a lot of $150,000, $200,000 projects as well. So
Are in kind of circling back to the disc stuff, are you finding there's a kind of a typical disc profile that
yep.
comes to you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
SCs.
Really?
Yep. Probably 75% of our clients are SCs. They like a methodical and measured approach, and we certainly provide that. And what's interesting is high Ds. So in our industry, there's a lot of contractors that they'll go out and meet a client, and then they just send them a estimate.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some design build companies that do that as well. And that's just not how we like to work. We like to educate people and talk with people and focus on a relationship. And what we found whenever we are interviewing with a high D personality, that almost always eliminates us from their list, because we won't send them an estimate.
Right.
We want them to come into the office and we'll talk through what we feel the budget's going to be. And it's like, okay, if I want more high D clients, it feels like I have to do something to respond to that initial request of a send. But we're really happy with our SC clients as well. And we have ID clients, but we don't have too many DCs.
Yeah, I'm not trying to over label a high D, but yeah, I mean, I think if it's a super high D, they know what they want.
Yeah,
and they're gonna win and fight to get it for the best possible price and all that, right? You have to balance that with some other need. Otherwise, yeah, it's just you're just gonna get beat up. Number one.
Right.
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 And yeah, we're in the business of, I mean, I like the way you describe that, we're a consultant. We're helping to guide them through this. If you don't need that, then yeah, don't hire us.
Right. Yeah. And that's fine. We're not for everyone, but for the people who hire us, they love us. And, those Ds who don't hire us, and they hire the people that satisfy their need, and they love them. And that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it is. I hate the saying it is what it is, but it sometimes is what it is.
Yeah. You can build out a whole nother entity to service Ds, but it looks like a completely different company, right? Different process. So on kind of forward design build. So when did you start it, or did you start it? Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah, I started it. Everyone told me I was crazy. I started in '97, and I was working in a architecture firm, and I was doing residential design on the side, and I just wasn't cut out for being inside a firm at that age where I was at. I paid my way through college by building decks and running a small business, not knowing what I was doing at all, but I could build a deck, and that paid for school, which was great. And once I got out into the real world, the working inside of an office and the culture, I saw people flying by me in terms of their opportunities, and I realized they had something that I didn't have for that environment.
Right.
And that was fine. It was certainly humbling. And honestly, the best things that have come in my life have come from those situations where I've been humbled. And I'm thankful for that. The I happened to see a remodeling magazine article with Walt Stuppleworth on the cover, and it said design build. It was an article about design build. And I never, like, what's remodeling? Like, to see that magazine walking through the lobby of the architect's office I was working at was kind of like, oh, I grabbed that, I read it over lunch, and I read it probably another 10 times over the next 2 days. And I was working on a design project for a client that they were going to, take out to bid. And I asked them if I could bid it. I did. I got the job. And I quit my job, and then I started to build that. And that's how it started.
Wow.
And I wasn't married. I didn't have any kids. I didn't have a girlfriend. Like, it was just, let's go. If I'm going to do this, now's the time. And a lot of people thought I was crazy, but in some sense I was, because I didn't know what I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out quick.
Ignorance is bliss is a powerful thing.
I found out quick. And
so you built that. So describe this first project that you built, never having been a general contractor before, right?
Well, so my dad was a builder.
Okay.
He worked for a Ford Motor Company, and he built a lot of stuff on the side. That's how I learned to build the deck. And then after he retired from Ford, he went on to be a builder. But from that sense, I'd never remodeled before. But I got my builder's license. I had that previously. And we just started. I just started, and I did everything. I did all the drawings, and then I was doing all the work, hiring in some subcontractors. But the project, which I thought was going to take 3 months, took 8 months or 9 months. Like, I gave my
That's
client.
not bad.
Oh,
for a first run. You finished it.
I finished.
Your personality type is to not finish it, right? I'm right there with you.
Right. Yeah. I finished it, and I gave them an awful experience. The one thing I did do that was to their benefit is I signed a fixed fee contract.
Yeah, you gave them a very good pricing deal, I imagine.
Yes. I remember the cost exactly, $22,560. And so I got the job, and I'm on the site, I'm working. This is maybe a month later, and I was starting to see some challenges, and I asked them why they hired me, and they said I was the lowest bid. And I asked, okay, what was the closest one? And it was somewhere around $60,000. And my stomach just, man, it was that was rough. So I wound up taking on side jobs, working at night. I found a builder in Brighton, and he would hire me to draft. He was a stock plan builder, and they did a lot of modifications, and they built a lot of homes. So from like 6 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night, I would just be drafting and then dropping drawings off to him in the morning, and then driving out to the project. So I got it finished. I learned a ton. And in that process, my second client, I also did not give a great experience to. And after that, I'm like, okay, I really have to reevaluate this. I was still working on the side, but my third project, it took 3. My third project, I knocked it out of the park. I still, those clients are near and dear to my heart. We actually, some friends of theirs had hired us last year, or the previous year, excuse me. And towards the end of the project, he came back and like, hey, do you know so-and-so? And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're my third client. It was really kind of full circle for me there. But that third project, we finished on time, great quality all the way through, great communication, and the client's words. And that gave me the fuel to keep going. So I did. Yeah. So not a great origin story, promptly fell on my ass. Sorry.
I think those are the right ones. Well, you stuck with it. Yeah, I think the ignorance is bliss piece is kind of exciting. You tested some stuff. I mean, one thing that I think is interesting is that you saw the remodeling magazine that said design build on the front, because I was right there with you, because I was working for architecture firms in this world of kind of architect led, or however you want to call it, coming at it from the design side, residential design build. I didn't know that it existed. I always dreamed of it, but I didn't know what a kind of thriving industry it was, because you didn't see that stuff in Architectural Record or any of the architect trade magazines. Honestly, the home building ones, JLC, Remodeling Magazine, the Builder,
right,
have incredible projects, and they actually give you like real meaty information about them that I thought was really cool. Where so often when you're in that architecture firm world, and I'm sure people said that when you started, they're like, "Oh, you're going to the dark side," right? I heard it all the time. Like, what is the Builder is the dark side,
right?
Like, why is there this huge disconnect?
Yeah.
So yeah, I empathize with that entire origin story. Once you got started, like, how long before you hired your first employee, and what did they do? What was your first hire?
My first hire was a lead carpenter slash almost a project manager, but he was a skilled tradesman and craftsman and could do a lot of different things. And he was handling job sites and trying to manage clients. And I was in sales and developing and designing the projects. And then a couple of carpenters followed after that. And then my first big what felt like a chasm to jump over was hiring a designer. And I found a great student coming out of the University of Michigan, and Peter Dune, and he jumped in, and he really won my trust very quickly, both with his ability to discuss pros and cons with certain designs and be able to talk with me about why he wanted to pursue a certain design direction. And the more I began to trust him, the more our company started to do better in terms of winning more projects, but also more life balance for me. And by that time, I was married and close to married. Yes, that time frame lines up, and moving into knowing I wanted to grow the business. And the only way to grow the business is to remove yourself from certain areas. And that's a journey in and of itself. But yeah, learning how to trust people. And
yeah, are you yeah, so that makes sense. So your first hires are people that aren't necessarily, replacing things that you wouldn't consider yourself the best lead carpenter slash project manager, I'm assuming.
no.
Is that fair to say? Yeah. So you're going to hire someone to kind of fill that weakness, and
Right.
you consider yourself, a great leader and a great designer. So you're like, how am I going to scale that?
Right.
How can I bring on someone that's better than I am?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you still run a lead carpenter model?
No, we run for the smaller projects, yes, we do.
Okay.
But it's generally a project manager, and with the larger projects, a site super with that as well. So what's interesting in the kind of growing the business and bringing people on is I started, and I've seen a lot of models in terms of how people are designing and delivering the service to the client.
Mm-hmm.
And through one of my mentors, I learned about a single craft model. And because I also saw a lot of companies who they would have a person and they were both designing the project and they were also estimating and selling the project to the client. Or sometimes they were estimating and then project managing it. They were doing multiple crafts. And what I saw with those companies over a period of time is that those people would burn out and they would leave, and they would have their team would have a high turnover. And the biggest thing I've learned is that a high turnover rate within your team is just a culture killer. And it's hard to really gain momentum, especially when you're trying to establish like a new system or process. So with a single craft means for us that we have a person who is responsible for sales or onboarding, finding the right clients for us. And that is a craft in and of itself. And they're managing, touching base with the client all the way through, solely focused on their mental health. And then we have a designer, and all of our designers are degreed professionals, and they continue their continuing education, because that is a craft in and of itself. And then our project managers, same thing. They're not estimating, they're not selling. They just focus on managing and delivering a great experience for a project. Because every project is different, every client is different. So we focus on that one product, and that product is the experience. And if we get that right, we also know that the build is also going to be really well done as well.
Do you guys have a seat of someone, like someone that's kind of running the customer experience across the board?
That's a great question. We do not. We have in terms of one person responsible for the whole company, no. We have 4 project coordinators, and they are responsible for the client experience across the board, each one of their clients. And then the project designer and the project manager are a part of that as well. But yeah, so that the role does that. And it's kind of my job as the head coach to make sure that they're doing that and setting them up in the proper systems to do that. How about you?
No, well, kind of. So my wife is kind of in that role. We're starting to build it out a little bit more. I'm trying to learn from Todd at Quarterson, as well as Alloy in Charlottesville, kind of have the same role. And it covers just everything from HR to client experience to disc profiles. And then I just flew back from Chicago last night, and I got these in the mail, which I always fly Southwest. So I get 8 of these cards, and it has a QR code on it and a kick-tail code. So if someone at Southwest, a gate agent or whoever, or person gives me a free beer on the plane, you're not supposed to use these for free drinks. It's not a bribe. But I just hand any of their people this card, like, hey, thanks, I appreciate what you did, or hey, that was really fun. They then scan it with a QR code, and they get something for it. So I'm like, I got to give these. This has to be like in our client startup pack.
Okay.
Right? Every single one of our clients starting at design gets like 12 of these cards that if someone does something from our team that they really like, they can hand this card, and then whoever, you can log them for something. I don't know. I just think it's a really easy way to reinforce exactly what you were just talking about, which everyone has their own individual role in client experience that they have to perform. But you need someone to put this into place, which might be, an experienced director or,
right.
You, right?
So walk me through that again. So you would give that card to a client, and then your client would give that card to somebody on your team.
Correct. Yeah, you get a pack of them, right? So it's in their pack. So yeah, so say they see someone, the easiest thing in the world, like get the easy stuff right. It's garbage day. The garbage cans are at the street. You're going there to check on the house. The garbage has been picked up. Roll the garbage cans up for the clients, right? Yeah. I mean, that's just like an easy example outside of the day-to-day of what we do, but it could be anything, it could be helping them solve a problem or whatever. And then the client says, hey, I really appreciate it. It's basically like a little thank you note that carries weight. Obviously there has to be something for it from the company to give back.
Yeah. Are they scanning the QR code and filling, and the client scanning that QR code saying what the person did, or?
So this it says you circle 1. Thank you. You made my experience friendly, fun, easy, or reliable.
Okay.
Just circle one of them, right?
Okay. That's it.
Or it could be, put your core values on it.
Right.
Like which one of these do they reinforce? They don't need any more information. We don't want to make this hard where they have to
right. So it's
type something out. Yeah.
They give it and then they turn it in. Okay.
That's I like great. That.
Yeah.
5, 6 years from now, we might have rolled that out, but I like the idea. So I just brought that up because it's literally sitting here and I got it in the mail yesterday. And that reinforces the role that every individual plays in the overall customer experience. And it's being pointed to, right? It's named, it's circled, and now you're pointing to it. I find that really, really, really intriguing because I think it's something that we're trying to solve with a lot of different mechanisms. And on that note, and I'm just curious your thoughts on this, how much of a good client experience comes from managing expectations?
We think a lot.
Okay.
Absolutely a lot.
Without being doomsday. How do you balance that? Because you're an I, I'm an I. I don't like to tell people bad news. Or things might go badly. Everything's going to go great. It's going to be the greatest experience ever. But
right. But and here's your happiness chart. And when you get into drywall, it's going to be a low point. So for my project managers, we have a training program that we've just launched where Notebook LM is a big part of it, where we're producing video explainers, podcasts, infographics about how to deliver bad news to these disc profiles of our clients. And it can be a 20-minute podcast that they listen to, or it could be a brief, which is like under 2 minutes. And they can prep themselves even before they walk in. So what we like to tell people is, number one, we believe your experience should be without budget surprises. That's number one. Our fixed fee price is going to do this, this, and this. And with the exception of an unforeseen condition, which in the design process, we do our best to identify where those might be, and those are in our scope of work. But the big thing we tell people is every project is different. Every client is different. There's going to be some issue, some mistake. But with our system and our process, we keep those small and we handle them quickly and we take care of things. And so it's kind of a reminder of that. Hey, we found this situation. This is how we're handling it. So we try to be upfront and be in front of it versus being reactive. That's the biggest thing that we do. And it is a challenge. People don't want to hear, yes, there's going to be something that happens. But what we're finding is people are actually reassured that we're honest and forthright about we're going to fix it though. Like we keep it small and we keep going and we address it. We'll fix things internally as needed, but for them, they just want to know it's going to get addressed and it's not going to cost them any more money.
Well, I think the old fear, and we deal with it as project managers, as managers of our subcontractors, the late change orders. Like That's the old school way, right? Like, hey, you get all the way to the end of the project. Oh yeah, you owe me $60,000 more. And our subs still do it sometimes. Like that, we want to, or our trade partners, it's like, guys, we got to get this under control. We want to make sure everyone's whole and square, but you can't just say we owe you $3,000 more. Like I'm literally paying that out of my own bank account at this point. That project's done. Right. So, managing the trade partners is a big part of that. And then the change order communication for the unforeseens or the little requests, right? How do you deal with the while you're here's.
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't want to say, no, we can't paint that room, but we need to go into a sequence, a method of understanding that's going to take more time. We're going to have to do this and that.
Right.
Right.
So that's a big part of setting expectations before we start construction. We really educate people on what an unforeseen condition is. We also educate on what a change order is, and change orders we will do and change orders we won't do. Sometimes we'll get, we always encourage people to do as much as they can inside of the remodel as possible, because you're just going to get the most value for your dollar at that point. However, sometimes when people get into the remodel and they really feel good about us, they feel like, okay, I do trust them. This is like a good experience, because no matter how good our marketing is, no matter how good our prep is, people always have that fear that this is going to go bad at some point. And so once they get over that emotional hurdle, then it's, oh, okay, so I also want to do all of this extra work. And that actually represents a challenge for us, because, okay, this is going to add a month to your project, but we had a queue of another project that's in development that wants to start at this point. And so we like to think of change orders as within a certain amount we'll say yes to, and then if it's too big, we say, no, we can't do that, but we can give you a budget and come back and do that as a small project at a later time.
Okay.
So yeah, overall, I'm not a huge fan of change orders.
I know. Well, we're trying, and you use the word methodical a couple times, right? What we do is really, really, really hard, and there's so many variables. And you work in Ann Arbor. I mean, that's old houses, that's old Midwestern houses. You don't know what's happening to these things. There's so many variables, and we work our tails off to really control as much as we possibly can, which is maybe 85 to 90%. Right. And as soon as you start introducing whole new variables of all these things that clients want to add or change as you go, the whole thing just falls apart.
Yeah. We've been pretty fortunate in terms of, we track the type of change orders we get. There's unforeseen. Those are usually very small for us. And then there's client requested ads. That's the bulk of it.
Right.
Or there is a client requested change, meaning something is built and they don't like it. That's right. Those are almost unheard of for us. It's just, we go through such a thorough planning.
Exactly. Right. Because that's why it's design build.
Right.
Like, we're figuring all this out. We're taking a lot of time and energy, and our clients are paying us a lot of money to figure it out on paper, design wise, and present that to them in a way that they can process it and say, this is perfect, I want it.
Right.
Yeah. And then, to your point, like, add another towel bar or something like that. Easy peasy. Right. Right. Well, Jeff, we're going a little bit long. I hope that's okay with you. If you have a couple more minutes, if you're cool. I've had another kind of running theme of this show. And again, like when I created this thing, and I talked about this with you like 5 years ago, and finally did it almost a year ago. I didn't over design it. I just like talking to interesting people and having good conversations. And I've had a lot of folks that went to architecture school, some of which are still working at architecture firms, but a lot of people have spun off and kind of gone either into the design build world, or they've gone, one is a restaurateur that I worked with at a firm. Like, it's just really fun to see the different directions folks go from architecture school. And so you went to University of Michigan, unbelievable school, even more unbelievable architecture school. How did that kind of prepare you for running not an architecture firm, right? For building a company and doing all that? Like, what kind of foundation did that really lay for you in terms of being a business owner? because it's not a business school.
No, it's not a business school, and there's professional practice courses to take, and they were
AIA contracts, right?
Yeah, that was fine. What college really did for me, especially studying architecture, was to understand why. What's the purpose of the design? What are we trying to achieve? And I know this sounds corny, but it was connecting with people and helping people. And, the idea of designing and being an architect and having, a million people pass through this beautiful piece of architecture, once I'm out in my career, and, the impact on people, that was pretty profound for me. And that helped me make the mental and emotional shift over into a family at a time. And ultimately, that's, I think, the foundation of architecture is shelter and living, and having an environment that you're comfortable in and that suits how you want to live your life in the home you have, and modifying your home to fit that need. So that is the foundation of what we do. It's the foundation of why our design build process is designed the way it is, to achieve that result for that family. And it's much less about my design style that I want to impart on this world. It's more about understanding their design style and then adapting our vocabulary, our language to that family, to that household. That's the foundation I got out of college, and I'm so thankful that I wound up at the University of Michigan. And I also have a lot of confidence that had it been another school, I would have gotten that same education. I think the architecture education has a lot of strengths to it. And I also say that knowing I have several people on my team who've gone to different colleges and universities, and it's universal, at least with people on our team, in terms of how they view design and our ultimate client. So,
yeah, I love that.
Long-winded, but yeah, I really feel it.
No, it's fascinating, to kind of look back at that curriculum, because at the time, I loved it. It was fascinating, but it was so different than so many other people's college experiences. Working in studio, right, and having a desk, and that entire culture is fascinating. And I worked in the kitchen of a restaurant in college, probably starting sophomore year. And I walked in and filled out the job application, and they're like, I held it up and like, architecture school, you're hired. Because they knew, because they had other architecture school people that work for them. Like, you right, work your ass off.
Yeah.
And the whole, it's basically, if you don't do that, you don't like it.
Right.
If you don't like it, you're gonna leave.
Right.
Right. There's no one's gonna spend all this time doing all that stuff, because they're preparing you for a world of, you get out what you put in.
Right.
Mentality. Yeah. It's not just about working hard. It's about thinking. It's about, the why, the purpose.
And curation. That was one of the tools that I found myself developing. I felt I was developing it while in college. And that was, ideas are never a problem for us, and for how we approach a design challenge, the opportunity to solve something, and understanding what the client really needs and wants. So just with that, we get all sorts of ideas, especially once you really understand structure and the mechanical aspects of things. But it's how you curate it down into a solution that also fits their budget range that they want to spend. And that's the magic of design build, is you bring the budgeting in at the concept stage really early on. But again, to answer your question specifically on college, the curation was that last element that really helped shape me into this career.
Yeah, and we never really had to deal with budgets then, which is the
No.
missing link, because it's part of the program.
Right.
I mean, it just is. That's okay. We were exploring, but we were still tested because you were given a project or a program, and you'd have to deliver something. You have to present it. You just it's called presenting or pen up, but it's basically sales.
Right.
And, and you've already lost if you're working on a project and you're thinking about what your professor is going to ask you.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're not going to ask you that.
Right.
There's no right answer. There's no right solution.
Right. Yeah.
Make something and be able to present it with confidence and understand what the heck you're talking about. Otherwise, they're just going to tear you to pieces.
Yeah. If you're looking for validation or approval, that's
the wrong field.
Yeah.
Our professors, they didn't even believe in giving us grades. They were required to, but they're like, that's stupid. Right.
Right. Yeah.
But Jef, this is awesome, man. I want to close out here because you have your own pod.
I do. Yes. Yeah. The Plan Forward.
Yeah. How things going? You loving it?
I am. We are. So a little bit of a different audience. It's mostly geared towards prospective homeowners who are prospective remodeling clients or custom home clients. And we get to talk a lot about what can make their experience better. And most of my guests are my teammates on the team. But it's fun. It's just, I love talking about this industry and the positive changes that we can have on people in their lives.
That's cool. Yeah. And I love you say a different audience. I'm like, I don't even know who my audience is. I think it's my mom. And we got a couple people watching on Instagram.
No, I've certainly watched your show. It's been awesome.
Oh, thanks. Well, it kind of started with my staff, and I really need to circle back to it because I think I like talking to them about this stuff. It's a little bit different when it's on a public forum, but I do want to do one where we just blindly talk through a project and where it is with the design team. And we're like, maybe if we do this, maybe if we do that. I don't know. Have you had any clients on the show?
No, we have not. Have you?
Yes. I had Nora Boyle on. She reached out because she works in marketing for Hardy. She's like, I love the show. So Nora, if you're watching, thank you. And I'm like, it would be so cool to have you on the show. So we talked about the building products industry. And then of course, her project, and she and her family are just incredible. And theirs was, that was a rancher. We tore the roof off, built something really cool. They had 3 kids and they moved out obviously, but you never know. We definitely talked about the funk chart or the happiness chart because that's a big part of it. It's just understanding there's going to be times where you're going to feel like this project is never going to be done. It's just going to feel like that. And we've been there before and we're going to get there. It's just one of those times where it just feels like there's no end in sight.
Right.
And then 2 weeks later, you're drywall and you're feeling great. And then you go back down. So, the Plan Forward's awesome, man. I was a little bit nervous you were going to come on this show from your studio and totally just make me look so unprofessional.
No, I hope I'm slow.
No, this is fun. I mean, the two of us can talk much longer. So I'd love to have you on again and keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I don't know when I'm going to see you next, but we'll figure it out.
We'll
figure out a summit or a.
Yeah, you're going to be at the summit?
I don't know. We don't have the hockey. I got to wait till the hockey schedule comes out.
Okay.
You used to know that world.
I did. Yeah, I did. No more. My son's in rowing now, and he absolutely loves it. And we're going to nationals this weekend. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Where's that?
It is in Lake Melton in eastern Tennessee.
Oh, cool.
So, nice little 8-hour drive for us. I think my wife's sister is coming out, and she's in the Charlotte area, that's only like 4 hours. So Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, that will be beautiful. I did notice it says head coach underneath of your name.
Oh, yeah.
Is that from hockey?
No, just it's my role here.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Gotcha.
president, principal, but honestly, I'm not involved in the day-to-day operations, you know, with delivering service to the client, but I'm in charge of systems and culture and coaching my client-facing team. So,
Cool.
yeah, I would say head coach.
That's like in the world of the NHL playoffs, like the players, they know when to change. They do all their own changes. During the game, the head coach is just there for support, right? It's kind of the idea. Some strategy here and there, but
yeah, I wouldn't. I have no idea. I have a lot of friends that played high level hockey, and I don't want to speak out of turn.
But that's the dream,
right? Yes.
Jef, this is awesome, man. Good to catch up, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. I had a blast.
All right, man. Later.
Bye bye.